Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro? You've been on break.
Yep. Still in holiday mode, which is nice.
Mode.
We had a nice week of weather there last week as well. Sun was shining. It was supposed to be yuck all week this week, but we had a bit of sun today. I managed to time my swim quite well. You managed to get in the water there yourself on Saturday, you and Osh and Kenny.
Very brisk.
Yeah, it was
to say the least.
brisk and brief. It's a quick dip at the moment, but I think we were in there you were in there for at least a minute. So you know that'll
It's probably about 50 seconds longer than I expected myself to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's been nice. I managed to get a couple of rounds of golfing elsewhere, which is always nice. Went up to Omaha and then played North Shore as well. So 2 new courses and couple of bogeys, couple of double bogeys. Managed to get a nice bird at Omaha. No birdies to be found at North Shore, unfortunately. Very windy. So they're probably all stuck up in the trees, I imagine, when it's windy. But no, it's been good. It's been nice to have a couple of weeks off, back into it next week, and but there's been plenty of sport on. There's been footy, there's been the Euros, there's been darts, so there's been lots to keep myself occupied, and we get to indulge in Game 3 tomorrow evening. The decider kicking off about an hour's time tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be a nice way to finish the day off tomorrow.
100%. Well, yeah, what are we, about 25 hours away from kickoff? Huge game. A lot of build up. Obviously, it's good to see that the Blues are able to square things up in convincing enough fashion to sort of make this one, I guess, a 50-50 going in.
Yeah.
In most people's eyes, it's
definitely a little bit more even than what it looked like it would have been after game 1. That's for sure.
Certainly after 7 minutes, when you thought that the series was all but gone.
Yeah. So it does make tomorrow night a little bit more interesting. I mean, I think the big thing probably is where it's being played. I think that's probably going to have a big part to play in it, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. Not only the crowd, but well, I suppose it is the crowd really. Whether the crowd manages to influence the refs, influence those Queenslanders to sway things in their favour, we shall soon see. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the best chances New South Wales has in a long time going up to Suncorp. You wouldn't really often give them too much chance, but yeah, coming off a hugely dominant performance in Game 2, it's got to leave the Blues fans certainly quietly confident. But as you say, it's a different beast going up there, and history tells us that. You look at the amount of great Blues sides over the years. Only 2 of them have managed to go up there and do it. So whether or not Madge has it in him, I saw a little post that he's a little bit of a streak breaker. Goes in, wins Wigan, their first comp in a number of years. Came into South, won them their first premiership in over 50. Or close to, I think.
Broke our streak of non getting the spoon, and then got us the spoon, and then left.
Broke the streak of getting the spoon. Broke the Kiwis streak of not seeing a bit of silverware, obviously last year in convincing style. So, yeah, fingers crossed we'll see a bit of that from the Blues' point of view. Billy's been fighting off journos left, right and centre. People seem to be calling into question his tactics, his selections, even what he's really been saying, which, to be fair, he has been saying some pretty bizarre things. The whole "we're Queenslanders,"
Yeah, it always gets
I saw another one today. I can't remember what it is, but
it always gets a little bit interesting. Obviously, especially when you
like
get to
voodoo mind games sort of
you
shit.
get to this stage when it is 1-1 and there's still something to play for in game 3. But it just shows you the intensity of it. It's probably for most league fans, it's the biggest thing in rugby league. So. It's good that it has gone down to game 3. I'm very glad that we've got a deciding match. Fingers crossed that this game's still got everything to play for come half time. In bed at half time for the last 2 games, so give us a reason to stay up for that second half. As someone who's not overly invested in Origin, that would be quite nice. Even if it is something like 30-0 or something like that, and there's some good, nice attacking footy to watch. I'd much rather watch like a 16-12 and a little bit of biffo. Maybe give me three sin bins, maybe no red cards, but 3 sin bins in the first half. Like maybe just 2 and keep it even, and it's like they just go down to 12v12 because it's been a fucking full-on fist fight.
Straps on, yeah.
Yeah, and 2 dudes have been sent to the bin for striking.
Dan Gagai did it last time out at Suncorp, I believe.
Yes.
Him and Matty Burton had a bit of a dance, if you remember that one.
I'd like to see a little bit of a rumble, both go down to 12 men, and then maybe in the second half you can chuck in another couple of bins here and there. Maybe like a bit of 12 on 11 at one stage for another fight. That could always be quite interesting, just to see how it plays out in that second half. I have to say I am, just based on it being in Queensland, leaning towards Queensland taking it out. It's the way I think it's going to go, but I've jumped on the Blues. We've caved and gone. We've officially moved to the TAB now from Neds, and what's completely thrown us is that it's the exact same setup.
Only difference is navy blue headers rather than the orange headers.
Different colours, but everything's the exact same. So it's been a nice, easy transition. So I found a little bit of value. I thought they're going for the Blues rather than for Queensland. So I've gone New South Wales 1-12 into Angus Crichton to get himself a meaty. It's going to get you $10.50.
Yeah, look, I'll be a happy man if that one comes off regardless. As a tragic New South Wales Blues fan myself, got to back the boys, and as a tragic Dragons fan, got to back Zachy Lomax there to cross the try line for 3 tries, or I guess 3 scoring in all 3 games. Sorry, what I was meant to say. $5.39 if those 2 come off.
Yep, nothing.
I'll be a happy man.
Regardless, he's been good the first 2 games, so I can definitely see
little Mitchell Moses bomb out to the right hand side.
I can definitely see him crossing over and getting himself a meaty there. It leaves us with a slightly smaller week this week, 7 games. It's better than what we had last week, I believe. 5 that we had in the end, I think it is. It's never really what you're after. So this team of the week that we have got for you, it's quite manly heavy, I think. Did we work out in the end? It was
lots of manly
just rolling
players
through that there. Bit of recency bias, I guess, being the only game there on the Sunday. It's what's in your memory. But so I guess kicking off there, we've started with Tommy Turbo there at fullback. Did we have him in there last week as well?
No, not last week. He returned to fullback for Manly this week.
He played centre the week.
He played centre last week. He was good, but certainly not as good.
First appearance for the season, possibly. Have we had him in there? We might have had him in there at one stage. Yeah, he's missed a lot of footy, so there's
probably early on, but yeah,
there's a high chance it could be his first appearance. But he was back to his old ways, I thought there.
Maybe 80 to 90% of the way. You could see he probably wasn't fully there, but
looked good.
Yeah, classy as always.
And he's joined there by one of his partners there in the back 3, Hopawate there on one of the wings. purely based on that lovely try assist, that kick from Brooksy out to the corner. He sort of caught it and passed it in that one motion.
Smooth. It was smooth.
Very smooth. Commentators saying that surely they've practiced a little sort of a move like that at some stage. So Hopoate on one wing, and then a man who sort of tore us up a little bit there, Molatalo on the other.
Yeah, two great games from those lads, and then another Sea Eagle and another Shark in there to round out your back five, with Garrick and Ramian in the centres both having good games. Garrick obviously grabbing a handful of points in that game.
Yeah, always going to be involved there when Manly are putting on a big win, and sort of tore apart the Sharks, the Knights there in that one. Jesse Ramian, the other centre there, joining him. In your halves, we've gone for a pairing here of Jaden Campbell and Trindle there from the Sharkies. Trindle was awesome up against the Tigers, filling in there and taking the lead role there with no Hines.
Yeah, last time we saw Daniel Atkinson play in the halves, maybe not last time, but when he came in up against Melbourne, we saw he was really good, so might have thought he would have taken the reins a bit in this one, but it was Trindle who, we were saying last week it was a great chance for the Tigers to get out there and catch the Sharks off guard, but they were great, and he was the general.
Yep, 100%. And then Jaden Campbell.
Taken to that number 6 jersey very, very nicely.
Yeah, he sure is. They've got a handful of players there, the Titans, who can sort of play in there in a couple of roles, and there's been a few headaches there for Disney.
And
who to play where. Brimson,
the 18th man this week, so they've still got to slot him back into the side with Campbell and Kinney playing so well. So
it's a tricky one there for Dizzy, but that's your back lineup there. Moving into the forwards, we've gone for your customary double barrel there, Reed, Campbell, Gillard. Although coming away with the loss, putting on a pretty solid performance there. And Pangai Jr. Don't know if you want to call it a double barrel, but he's got two last names there, so. It's nearly a double. No, it's not hyphenated.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go TPJ, technically, that's
you're rocking three initials.
Maybe that's kind of the way we're looking at it. 3 initials rather than
RCG, TPJ,
you know what I mean? So
AFB, JWH.
It seems to be a theme there with the props. I'd say that's going to be. Well, I've probably said this at some stage before, but that's going to be maybe props and wingers. There's a few wingers as well that I can think of. But those are your 2 props, two solid games there over the weekend. And your mate Jacob Little slotting in there in between them in the hooking role. Yeah,
to be fair, I thought it was one of the best games I've ever seen Jacob Little play there. Saturday night. It was
ever since he's left the Tigers and joined the Dragons, he's played better footy than I've ever seen him play. So whether that's a testament to the Tigers or a testament to the Dragons, possibly the Tigers there maybe showing that we weren't really up to scratch, but that's your middle 3 there. Joining them there, we've also got another one of your fellas, Jaden Siller, not involved there in Origin this week and putting in a pretty solid performance. And Ola Kawado, another man there, not involved, being released back, and also having himself a game there.
Yeah, the 2 axed men, both crossing the line for meat pies as well. Jaden Siller pouncing on a loose ball from Tristan Saylor, and Ola Kawatu strolling over on the right hand side for Manly. Pretty good messages to send to their respective Origin coaches off the back of their axings.
100%. That's the way you want to be going out there and doing it when you've been axed. And Nathan Brown taking your 13 role there. put in an unreal hit there at one stage, and someone went low, and he's come in high second, not high, but just above. And I reckon the hit was so hard that I think it was Garrick that came in low. I reckon he would have rocked Garrick well truly in this tackle. It was unreal. It might have been Campbell coming across possibly. It was like a kick return, and they've ended up passing it. He's come ran sideways a little bit. Someone's come low. Brown's coming over the top, and I reckon Garrick. I think it was Garrick got completely rolled. So I would have chucked him in there just on that alone, but it's been a pretty handy pickup there for Manly, and scoring himself. Well, I think it was the first try of the game. I'm pretty sure his try.
Can't quite remember.
No, it wasn't. It was Humphreys.
Yeah, that's right.
It was the Humphreys forward pass try.
Yeah.
But Brown might have been second or third possibly. But no, that's right. Humphreys probably unlucky not to be involved there as well. I thought he was awesome. Awesome on debut. That's your team of the week for your slightly Scooby small round. Again, 7 games this week. 3 teams rocking in with the bye. Obviously Origin Wednesday, no NRL Thursday. Do we have is it Women's Origin? Is there anything like that Thursday night, or is it just an
Women's Origin's already decided. They've already had their games.
Their NRLW Premiership, does it kick off this weekend, or is it a round of trial matches?
Not 100% sure on that.
I'm pretty sure it's this weekend or the following weekend, or maybe we had trials on the weekend there. I think just before when I was looking, I'd seen something pop up on the Tigers page, but possibly that's the case then. Maybe we have, let's have a look, maybe we might have a little bit of Thursday night NRLW, but leaves you with Friday, kicking off with the Raiders up against the Warriors.
Right. And then it should after the buys.
As it must be next week. Not this week, either way. Maybe a night off there on Thursday, but it leaves you with the one game there for your Friday night. The Raiders up against the Wales. Both teams coming in fresh. Both teams coming in with the free 2 points there last weekend. Bit of an interesting one, this one. Obviously, Warriors needing to have a little bit of a comeback here to sort of save their season, travelling to Canberra. Had a bit of an up and down season, a few games there where they've looked hot, and a few games there where they've completely fallen apart.
Yeah, it's a buzzy one for the Warriors because they've looked the best when a few of their bigger name players have been on the sidelines at stages throughout the season. It's really hard to, I guess, put your finger on it for the Warriors. Really fallen off a cliff in recent weeks. Bounced back with a nice one over the Broncos recently, but whether or not
Broncos that are on a downward slope.
Yeah, so they've just reached their sixth loss in a row there, the Bronx. So whether or not in hindsight that's the best victory or not, but
I don't think
it's a huge one for both teams there.
Too much of a statement.
Both sitting on 20 competition points, I believe. As things stand, 19 for the Warriors.
19 and 20, 11 and 12th place.
As things stand, it's 3 and 2 points out of the 8, respectively. So a big one, really.
It is a huge one. Whoever wins this,
they want to keep in touch.
To stay in touch, and the other team sort of falls behind that a little bit more, depending on other results. And it will be tough, I think, this one for the Warriors. They're travelling over to Canberra, but you're right. When they are missing a few of their bigger names, they've played some pretty good footy. It's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a toss of a coin as such, but we just saw there, both teams are in a pretty similar spot there in the table, playing pretty similar footy at the moment. I don't want to say similar footy at the moment, but similar stretch of results, I guess, to see them where they are. So it is a bit of a tricky one to pick, this one, but I'd probably say I'd be leaning towards a Canberra win in this one here. It might just be that little bit of a stretch too far for the Warriors in this one.
Yeah, I think Canberra at home, they'll be, because what was their last game out? Melbourne, was it?
I wouldn't have a clue going back that far. Only 2 weeks ago, but
I can't remember, but yeah, I'm fairly certain.
they dicked us there a couple of weeks ago, so
I can't go back that far. But some big news for both sides in terms of the teams that have dropped, I reckon at least. You've got Hudson Young, Jamal Fogarty back into the side for Canberra to start, and Hosking on the bench there. And some devastating news for the Warriors on the other hand. Their captain, their inspirational leader, Tohu Harris, has been ruled out for the season. I believe he's off to have some surgery, if he might not have already had it. And Chanzan Montoya also not named on the side this week. Can't
whether or
remember
not
if that was
it could always
injuries.
could
or...
possibly be a blessing in disguise, like we're saying. You know, when they're missing the big names, they tend to do well. But I think the biggest thing there is Fogarty coming back in for Canberra. They sort of losing him, they fell apart a wee bit there. So possibly he's the man to come in and turn their season around and bring them back into that top 8 contention.
Yeah.
I actually hadn't seen that Fogarty was in. That definitely assures me of my back there. Canberra 1-12 into Timoko. Possibly would have chucked Fogarty in there as well if I'd seen that he was back.
A huge try scorer, Jamal Fogarty.
Yeah, but
you beef up those odds.
It's a bit of a scenario bet, but 8.21 there for a Canberra 1-12 win and a Timoko try. So that's what I'll be gunning for there come Friday night.
Good on him. Can't see anything wrong with that. I've gone very similar. Canberra 1-12 into Kyle Weeks. Shifted into the fullback role this week with the return of Fogarty. He's been playing well at halfback, but probably just looks to be more of a runner of the ball as compared to what Fogarty brings to the side. So you're right. Looks pretty safe at this stage, but yeah, could go either way this one. Friday night.
Only the one game there for your Friday. Only the one game? Yeah, it is only the one game there for your Friday. 3 for your Saturday, 3 for your Sunday, which is always nice. Your first game there for your Saturday. Souths up against the Tigers. Both teams losing there, obviously, on the weekend. Souths, their little unbeaten streak coming to an end. Possibly a very good time for us to come up against them, or a very bad time. They may come out absolutely fired up, ready to bounce back. You can't really say it's a bounce back when you continue to lose, but obviously we'll be coming out with a slightly similar attitude, having lost by more than 50 points there. I don't want to say it's a good time, but you know, there's probably worse times to come up against the Bunnies, I'd say, than this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, certainly helps not having Latrell Mitchell on the side at any stage of the year, but yeah, also looking at Saturday afternoon there, whether or not Cam Murray is still feeling a bit stiff from a huge shift up in Suncorp, but
100% he'll play, surely.
Yeah, I'd say he will do. He is the sort of bloke to back up, and even if he doesn't get through 80 for South, I'm sure he'll put in a good shift. Yeah, it's tough. Tigers coming off your heaviest loss of the season as well. Benji, very disappointed with the effort, apologising to all the fans. So
yeah, it was pretty poor. We played well for the first, I want to say 10 minutes, maybe not 10 minutes. Actually, there was a certain stage there where it might have been like 18-6, possibly maybe 20-6, something like that.
It was 12-6, and then they scored an intercept try.
Was it 12-6 when the intercept try?
Even
it might have been 18-6, and then they ended up scoring a try. And we'd sort of still looked like we were going to be in it.
The Appy Sinbin was very, very harsh. Obviously, looking back at it, it does look like he did manage to get back square at marker there, and it was a bit of a shocker from the ref, whether that took the wind out of the sails and just sort of spelled the end of your guys' night from there. Quite a little good, but yes, Tigers were also pretty poor, so Benji's swung the axe. Well, not really. Most players have kept their spot in the side. Couple of injured blokes.
Couple of injuries.
Safas is injured or banned, but Lob came off with an injury there, so
Lob injured, so Lely's playing. I'm not too sure.
Appy as well, the big one.
Appy's out there in the extended reserve, so we've got De Silva starting. Does mean we get to see all three of the Fainu brothers involved, which is quite cool.
Yep, we'll be rocking the old Samuel Ella Sione, is it?
And Latu. Hopefully,
three brothers. Hopefully,
no offense to Latu, we'll see him getting dropped. De Silva moves to 14 and Appy comes in to start. That's the ideal scenario there, but if not, Tim De Silva, he's a good looking young bloke. He looks like he's going to be good come a couple of years. Hopefully, someone we can hold on to there, especially if he can learn off Appy. I mean, I want to say that I'm confident of a Tigers win here, but I can't say that I am, having seen how the Bunnies have played over the last couple of months and how we've played over the last couple of months. But the Eels have the bye; they get the free 2 points, so it's vital that we get a win in this one and keep up with them.
Yeah, it's going to be a big ask coming up against that south side. I don't believe this one is in Sydney. I believe it's a regional one.
I'm not too sure where it is.
Gosford or something. Yeah, Gosford. So, what sort of turnout we get there? I believe Souths have taken a few games out there over the years, so they'll probably have a big following. But yeah, we've got 15th up against 17th, I believe. So, big chance for the Tigers to pick up another win. Keep in touch with Souths, with Parramatta, as you said.
Just Parra that I'm worried about. That's the only team. I don't see either of us, possibly Parra to be fair, catching. Well, are the Titans above the Bunnies now?
I believe so. They've won a few in the last week.
I don't know if they were still 15th or not. They're up to 14th. Good on them.
On points difference.
Not really good on them because it kind of fucked us over.
Yeah,
I don't see.
Both have to get 3 wins.
I don't see either of us catching really, but the Eels have got that. Is it an extra bye or is this going to be? No, so we'll have another bye. So yeah, we get a win here. It's huge because then we get our next bye. We get a little jump up hopefully. So yeah, I want to say that I'm confident, but not confident whatsoever. But I'm backing the lads. As always, going for a little tight Tigers 1-12 win, and I'm going Adam Dewey to get himself a meaty up against his old team.
Total is 34, not bad.
34, so yeah.
Yep, I like it. It's tough. Couldn't give my money to the Tigers in terms of a result, and Souths weren't offering me much there, so went back to an old favourite and just wanted to see how the TAB would spit it out, I suppose. AJ, Whiten and Buller, 3 random try scorers, $11.49.
Yep, probably the way to go in a game like this one here. That is your first game for your Friday. Leads you into the Knights up against the Broncos now. both teams there losing on the weekend. One team far worse off than the other. The Knights absolutely pumped there by Manly. Really didn't look too good. Whereas at least the Broncos were in it in that game up against the Dragons for most of that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, early on, the Broncos definitely struggled. They came back strong in the second half, particularly late, to cause a few flutters for Dragons fans like myself. But yeah, definitely didn't look good at all. Apart from those stages where they did sort of score 2 or 3 tries in small periods. Don't know what's going on with this Broncos side. 6 straight losses. Looking like the actually no, because South made the, I was going to say 3rd team, but 2nd team in a row to go from grand final to not appearing in the finals the following year, not appearing in the top 8 at all.
It would be interesting whether or not we do see that, but yeah, they're
well behind the pace now.
They're sitting there on 18 points.
Crying out for everyone else to
13
come back,
points.
that's for sure.
He's been named in the reserves this week, number 24, but the Origin boys as well are like 19, 20, 21, 22,
So
23.
whether or not we see them come back in, it's a good time for the Broncos to try and turn this around. I think up against this Knights team. Obviously, they'll have their Origin boys back. They were missing 3 big names there on the weekend, but I think the Newcastle looked pretty poor. I thought in that one there up against Manly. So it's a good time for the Broncos to try and turn their season around a little bit. Pushing for the 8, maybe a bit of a push now. The way that they've sort of fallen off, but they'll be wanting to try and turn it around a wee bit, save face a little bit.
Yeah, look, I think if there is any side that currently sits outside of the 8, apart from obviously us, because we're basically out of the 8 on points. Well, we are out of the 8 on points difference.
And quite a bit of points difference.
But I would probably back the Broncos to have a better chance.
I mean, look at that. They're sitting there positive points difference, and then plus
It's a huge game this week, because if they beat the Knights, it leapfrogs them above them at the very least, and then
So
the Raiders and the Warriors playing each other, so they'll leapfrog above one of them as well if they can pick up a win.
Scroll up to that. Go back to the ladder there and go up a little bit. Do I see any of those teams there? I mean, the only team that I really see falling out of the 8.
Well, the Dolphins could do, although
I don't see. I think if anyone, possibly just the Cowboys, for the Dragons or the Broncos. I don't think the Knights are good enough to make it. I don't think Canberra or the Warriors. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Certainly, in terms of the names of the squads, you ignore the Rabbitohs and Parramatta down there. Broncos are the strongest of those bottom 8 sides. You'd have to say on paper, so they could have a run in them. I believe their draw isn't too tough either. Final game of the season is up against the Dolphins, so
that
should things continue to sort of unravel and for the Dolphins and Brisbane can get things a little bit on track.
Could be a huge game.
Could almost be a pre-semi-final.
It's a home game there, kind of for both either way, so that's always a nice sort of thing. So it'd be a huge game if you sort of had like 8th and 9th place there.
It would
going into that one.
I suppose that's a few weeks away. Back to this week, Newcastle, Brisbane. Yeah, both teams not looking very, very good at all last week, you'd have to say. Brisbane were the lesser of the two evils, but yeah, look, it can be tough when Manly get a tailwind up at Brookvale there. Tommy Turbo coming back into the side definitely lifts them. So whether or not Newcastle can write that one off and move forward, continue Brisbane's losing streak, or Brisbane can turn things around, it's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
This is going to have to be the week for them to kick-start this, I think, for the Broncos. So I'm backing the Broncos. Broncos win. Broncos 1-12, and Corey Oates to cross over and get himself a meeting. Nice and easy. It's paying $5.27.
Yeah, not bad. I've gone for Newcastle because even though they are at home, they're the underdogs. So Newcastle 1-12. Dean Mariner to cross the stripe, keep in touch with Lofi, Khan Pereira at the top of those try-scoring charts there in the race for the Ken Irvine medal. $8.79.
Yep, good time for him to give himself a try as well with the Titans. They've got the bye as well. I don't even know they've got a game.
No, they play Manly.
There you go. But get in there before they play. Leads you into Melbourne up against the Roosters. Is that your third game for your Saturday there?
Surely.
Is that your first Sunday? That's your third Saturday, I'm 99% certain. It is too.
Yeah, surely. Storm Roosters. They're not going to put that in any other time slot.
That's a 9:30 kickoff sort of game. Both teams coming in fresh. Both teams had the bye there in that short week last week. Lee back in there for the Roosters, so that's obviously it'd be handy for them. And Harry Grant named to start, is he?
Named to start
for the Storm. So he hasn't been involved for a wee while. Storm have, although sitting there at the top of the table, haven't looked as good there without him being involved. So that's a big one there for the Storm in this one.
Yeah, also Remus Smith and Nick Meaney back in to the starting side there. So few names back from Melbourne in an important clash. Obviously Suaalii has been he's been fit and healthy, just been suffering the consequences for taking Reece Walsh's head off a few weeks ago. So he'll be back, really desperate for a performance, ready to show everyone what he's made of. Should be a great game though. You know, the Roosters are flying. They're putting most teams to the sword lately. We've both been on the receiving ends of heavy defeats at the hands of the Roosters over recent weeks. But Melbourne, even though they haven't been playing their best footy, they're still sitting 4 points clear. Still 4 points clear.
Still 4 points clear. Yep, you're right. They're still sitting there with that bit of a buffer at the top of the table.
Although you look at the Roosters' difference, it's 100 points better. Even though they're sitting 2 wins further back.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get a win here in this one, they've also got an extra bye. So all of a sudden,
essentially, it's really just a 2 point gap.
All of a sudden, that puts Roosters top of the table. So. Huge one here for them, but I think having Harry Grant come back in for the Roosters, that'll be big. Jerome Hughes has been playing some pretty awesome footy at the moment with the absence of Cam Munster there, so having another big name like Grant to come in and help lead the boys around, that's going to be really big for the Storm. But yeah, as you said, Roosters have been flying. So it's your typical third game on a Saturday sort of game. 2 big teams, essentially. I want to say a top of the table clash, even though they're sitting there in third.
Yeah, I mean,
with that bye in the pocket, that puts them up there as well with them. So Roosters win this, and you've got them at top of the table at some stage if things go their way.
If you consider all the if, buts and maybes, it is a top of the table clash. Whoever wins this one goes a long way, I suppose, towards that minor premiership, unless either of them come up against Penrith in the weeks to come. You'd probably have to back them in to be picking up the W against most other sides. So a huge one there Saturday night. Looking forward to it, that's for sure. I've seen we've both gone fairly similar. Melbourne 1-12. I've gone Pappenhausen for $6.48 there.
Yeah, and I've chucked Katoa in there, the try scoring machine that he has to get himself a meeting, $9.97. Those are your three Saturday games and then 3 Sunday games. Quite ideal, really. It's a lovely way to end the week, lovely way to end my week of school days. I don't think we've got a Monday or anything like that. I believe it is 3 Sundays. 1, 2, 3,
4, 6, and 8.
The old 8:15 kick off there on a Sunday. As you're mentally prepping yourself to restart the working week. You kick it off with the Panthers up against the Finns. Now Penrith coming in off the bye, they got the free 2 points there last week, and the Dolphins breaking that winning streak there of the Bunnies. Probably not many picking them to do so in that one there, but coming out victorious after the 80 minutes.
Yeah, the Dolphins didn't manage to catch the full game, but watched the highlights back, and yeah, it was a strange old game, this one. Certainly, the Dolphins scoring 36 points, looking very tasty on attack, but Souths definitely not what we've seen from them over the last few weeks. Whether or not that was due to missing the likes of Latrell and Cam Murray there. But yeah, disappointing for South. Probably just about marks the end of their hope for a miracle push towards finals. And then, yeah, you've got Penrith coming in off a bye. 5 of their players coming off Origin. 2 of them given the rest altogether, and Edwards and Yeo, not named in the side. And then you've got To'o, Luai and Martin all named like 22, 23, yep. 24. But the big one for the Panthers, Nathan Cleary's back.
Yep.
In the number 7 jersey there, so huge one in their run for the finals.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece of news to come out of this one here. Nathan Cleary back into the starting team.
Obviously can't rule Penrith out in that run in for the minor premiership.
Oh, not at all. Like you said, if the Storm or the Roosters come up against them, they're at some stage.
They're 6 points behind, so
they are too. They're not on 28.
Maybe not the top of the table clash with Bills.
There's too many if buts and maybes. If only they'd won another game, I guess is the way you've got to look at it there. But yeah, this one, I think Cleary back. That's huge, huge for the Panthers in this one here. The rest of the lads coming in pretty fresh, obviously, apart from those boys there involved in Origin. But the Dolphins breaking that winning streak of the Bunnies, they'll be quietly confident that they can go out there and snag a win away in Penrith.
Yeah, I mean we've certainly seen Wayne Bennett pull off trickier
not something
victories over the years, that's for sure. He is the old master, so wouldn't put it past him having something up his sleeve for this one. Katoa, he was coming out of that Penrith system. He'll be desperate to go down there and show them, I guess, what they were missing out on. Although, yeah, it's tough to see anyone really getting up over Penrith when they do have Nathan Cleary coming back into the side. I suppose you could say the one thing in the Dolphins' favour there is it is his first week back. So,
yeah, I mean,
whether or not there is a little bit of cobwebs to be blown out, a little bit of rust.
But he's a bit of a race car, It's one of those. He's kind of like a 0 to 100 and 2.8 sort of thing. So maybe a little bit of cobwebs, but should be done and dusted after 10 minutes. You'd like to hope maybe while he's out there, at least gives him 70 minutes of some action. whether or not he's fully 100% fit or not, that's the thing, you know. If we see him sort of go down, you know, I'm sure he'll be targeted there by the Finns. There'll be a couple of big hits coming in him, I'm sure, at some stage on Cleary, and it's whether or not if he's fully fit and we can see him play what we expect of him. Huge for Penrith, but yeah, I think Dolphins probably are quietly confident that they can snag themselves a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, that's for sure, but I don't see why not. Yeah, especially if the likes of Brian To'o, Luai and Martin are given the chance to put their feet up with Dylan Edwards and Isaiah Yeo there. It certainly takes a good healthy chunk of that Penrith side away, and you've got Hammer and Kaufusi both named in their starting roles there respectively, so huge for the Dolphins to have the Hammer back. I believe he was struggling with a little injury over the last few weeks as well, so came off injured in Origin too, didn't he?
Came off injured in Origin. That's right. Yeah, you're
went back on, but obviously was due to the pain-killing injection I'm sure he received. So yeah, Hammer's back. Whether he's fully fit and recovered, we'll see tomorrow night. I suppose in one aspect, but yeah, should be tough for the Dolphins, I'd say. So couldn't go with Penrith again. Nothing really there in terms of the value, and Dolphins just weren't doing it for me. So went back to the old 3 try scorer favourite, Hammer, Izako and Nathan Cleary, $19.84.
Yeah, I did opt to stick with Penrith. Dolphins are gonna keep them in. I've gone for a Penrith 1-12. And Dane Laurie taking the 1 jersey there with Dylan Edwards being rested. He's going to give himself a try and going to pocket myself $6.70.
Not bad.
That is your first game for your Sunday. Manly Titans is your second game. That's your middle game there, your Sunday evening. Maybe as you're sitting down to have some takeaway, some dinner of some sort there on your Sunday. Both teams coming away with wins there on the weekend. Manly, as we said before, with Newcastle being pumped, Manly were on the other end of that one. And the Titans sort of winning that battle there near the bottom of the table, which was awesome for me to see. The Eels continuing this run of losses, sticking down there with the Tigers. Could have been very, very different. It looked like the Eels were going to come away with the win at one stage, but as you said, Titans having a few wins recently, playing some pretty good footy. So it's an interesting looking matchup, this one here, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Gold Coast have been playing reasonably well over the last few weeks, and then obviously the 66-6 was very, very tasty from them. So carrying a little bit of form into this one, into the Des Derby. Des going back.
Is the Des Derby? I didn't even realise. You're right.
Going back into, I suppose you could involve the doggies there in some shape or form.
I kind of, Des has the
I think Des
with Manly.
I think Des handed the rights of the Des Derby over to Gold Coast when he signed there. Yeah, I mean, obviously he is associated with the doggies, but yeah, definitely more associated with Manly, given what he played, probably a couple hundred, 250 odd first grade games there, I believe, as well, as a player. So definitely the Des Derby. It's going to be tough for the Titans though, after what we saw last week. Tommy Turbo back into the side at fullback, second week back from injury, and yeah, starting to look very, very good. The rest of the side humming as well. Hopewadi played a great game on the wing. The right edge for Manly just looked
Very, very tasty, even without DC running the show there. Humphreys was very, very good, and Garrick and Saab with a couple of tries as well, I believe. So another player who was possibly unlucky to miss out on Team of the Week selection to bring it to 6 Manly players there.
Definitely could have been involved in that Team of the Week.
Yeah.
Good to see all 3 of the Trebojevic.
Yeah, we got Burbo, Gerbo, and Turbo,
which is cool to see. It's nice to get all 3 of the brothers involved in this one here. It's an interesting looking one because the Titans just 2 weeks ago you would have, well not 2 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, you've ridden them off. They're in that spoon battle.
Are we saying there's a chance? It's mathematically.
It's definitely mathematical.
They're the same amount of points as the Broncos. They've obviously
they're going to win here against Manly.
They've banked both their buys already.
They're going to win here against Manly, and then they can go up to 12th. 11th if 12th because it would be 12th. I mean, there's definitely a shout that they lose this one and they're really going to be struggling. I mean, I'd love to see a big Manly win just to see, so it gives us another opportunity to jump out of the last place. All three Trebojevic brothers crossing, that would have been a good bet. I didn't look at that actually, but I'll be crossing my fingers for a big Manly win here. That'd be ideal for us at the moment.
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't mind Gold Coast doing us a favour there, stealing a couple of points off Manly, letting us jump back into the 8 off the back of a little cheeky bye. But can't really see anything much but a big Manly win based off what we saw last week. Gold Coast playing pretty well at the moment though, so wouldn't put it past them making it a lot closer than Newcastle managed to. And Des, he's the sort of bloke to have a magic recipe for coming away with a win in a big emotional game like this. So wouldn't be surprised if it was a Gold Coast win, but definitely going to have to go with Manly in this one, and that's where I've thrown my money this week. Manly 13 plus into Tommy Turbo, a measly $3.46. I picked the bet before the odds were there, and I tucked it in, and I couldn't think of anything else. I wanted to change it up.
There's not much going in this one really. I've gone very similar. I've gone Manly 13 plus into Turbo, and I've just chucked Garrick in there as well to cross the try line. He's a point scorer, beefs it up a little bit, and that's only going to get me $7.08. So very
nothing too exciting here in terms of the Manly game.
In this one leaves you with the Cowboys up against the Doggies as your last game of the round. Both teams coming in fresh off the bye. Quite a few Origin boys there involved for the Cowboys. 5 all named there in the reserves, but you'd think come Sunday, barring any injuries, they're all involved.
Yeah, you'd think so. At home, not a huge return journey up the road from Brisbane to North Queensland in terms of potentially what they're used to. Whether or not we do see all 5 of them run out come Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening there, probably does depend on whether or not they do pick up any knocks. You've got Crichton for the Doggies as well, but he's been named to start. Obviously, he's captain of the side, so fair enough for him there. So, look, the Doggies
they've been gunning along quietly, and all of a sudden,
so they're in 5th,
2 points away from a top 4 berth. Obviously, the Roosters and Sharks with that extra bye on the doggies.
It'd be
there, but,
outrageous if they got a top 4 finish, I think.
yeah, I don't think anyone would have picked that.
But fifth's a good shout at the moment.
It's a handy spot to be.
Stay there, yeah,
5th or
100%.
6th. You started off with a little home final. I don't think anyone's giving the Bulldogs too serious of a shout towards making a serious run into the finals.
Home final.
Home final.
You're banking a win.
You're picking up a win.
You're banking it pretty much already for the doggies. And they're still unbeaten at home?
I'd say so.
What does it say there in the...
I don't think they've lost since we last spoke.
8-0. There you go.
Yeah.
8-0 at home. They've got a better record than Melbourne at home. So, yeah, no reason why they don't beat anyone there in that game if they finish 5th. So, it's an interesting one, this one, though. Obviously, Cowboys, they're the team there that I see possibly slipping under the 8 if there's anyone there that I'm picking. Been a little bit hot and cold. They've struggled to find a decent run of form there, the Cowboys. They're kind of just sliding there under the radar in there in 8th place. Seems to be a little bit of like a bus stop sort of situation. Someone's getting on, someone's getting off. A little bit of a rotation there in 8th at the moment. So it is an interesting one. Doggies obviously travelling to Queensland there. You see a couple of injuries to those Cowboys. Maybe someone doesn't back up. Doggies should see themselves coming away with a win. You'd think on this one.
I mean, if all 5 of them aren't playing for the Cows, I think it's going to be, a tough ask for them. But you flip that Bulldogs home record around. They've only won 1 game away from home.
Yeah. They've struggled.
And that includes games that they've probably, obviously without verifying this, probably had at their home ground, Homebush. But they were other teams' home games, like South or something like that. I can't remember, but certainly had other games in Sydney where they would have had good turnouts. And going up to Townsville, certainly a change in climate. Whether or not Stephen Crichton is at 100% after picking up a huge Origin victory on Wednesday night, maybe a 2 or 3 day bender, might find himself waking up on Saturday, shit, I got to get myself up to Townsville by tomorrow for another game.
Yeah, you'd like to
whether he can back up from that.
You'd like to think as the old El Capitano, he'd be a little bit better.
And a little bit better shape than that, yeah.
He'll be there come Sunday, I'm sure. We've gone a little bit either side of the fence here on this one. I'm backing a Doggies one. You've gone for a Cows one. I've gone Doggies 1-12 into the big man Viliame kick out to get himself a meaty, $11.26.
Not bad in terms of that value, but yeah, I can't shake that Bulldogs away record. So I've gone for Cows 1-12. Scotty Drinkwater to cross the line, $6.53 for that one. To round out the week, leaves you with my Dragons, Parramatta Eels, and Cronulla, all with the buys. Obviously, Dragons coming off a good victory over the Brisbane Broncos to, at the time, leave us in the 8,
Yep.
but the Cowboys jumping back in with their bye last week, come the end of the round, so only in the 8 for about 24 hours or so.
But you're in there for a bit, and that's the main thing.
So yeah, it's probably
most likely jumping back into that 8. Again, if things go your way, if things go my way, Doggies 1-12 into kick out, you boys jump back into the 8. So the Sharkies as well, banking that 2 points there last week, banking another this week as well. Weren't really tested very much, so nice easy rest, come back in next week fired up, I'm sure. But those Eels continuing to fall apart down there, joining us at the bottom with the Tigers. I'm kind of hoping that they lose this weekend to the bye somehow. Maybe it's a draw. Maybe
That's what I was just thinking. They've been going that bad.
They only give them 1 point. They draw with them, something like that. That'd be perfect for us at the moment. So that's kind of what I'm picking there in that one. Maybe a draw between the bye and Para.
Maybe they slip 1 point ahead of you.
Yeah, only 1 point for now, and then we get the extra bye.
You beat the bye,
and then we beat them by a point. That is ideal scenario. Hopefully, come the end of the round, we are not the only team there sitting on only team sitting there at 17th most likely, but hopefully not they're the only one on 12 points. We did also we saw a final over the weekend, didn't we? We got to see the
Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Yesterday
morning. The end of the Euros. All finishing off with the final there. England up against Spain. Quite a big matchup. And I have to say, first 45 minutes, some pretty poor football. It was quite boring, barring that first goal.
Yeah, both teams were. Well, there wasn't a goal in the first 45 minutes. We went in at 0.
We weren't. Yeah, you're right. It was about the 40. It was like the 47th, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 90 seconds after we restarted play there that Spain did manage to get that first goal. But yeah, whether or not it was just nerves playing a part there in that first 45 minutes, I guess. When you do look at it, you are looking at a final. It is the two best teams of the tournament. Whether or not that was performance-wise, particularly with the English there, that could certainly be argued. But at the end of the day, it was a final. Spain came out of the blocks way too hot in that second half. England were sort of caught on the ropes. Spain completely dominated most of that second half there. There's probably a 10-15 minute odd spell when England went down, Palmer and Watkins came on and they managed to find a great little equaliser, but
it should have started, I reckon, from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't think Kane was either fit or just mentally right.
Just shit, I reckon, to be fair. At least in that
trophy dodger, I suppose, yeah.
No Son Heung-min there to set him up, like he had there at Spurs. He's a different player. Ollie Watkins seems to be the man there for England, but Cole Palmer, a lovely little finish there to get that equaliser, and it looked like it was gonna go to extra time, but Yazbal finding that winning goal in the 86th minute.
A name not too many might be familiar with, but should you have played, I don't know, maybe FIFA 23? Career mode, FIFA 22?
He's been
pretty sure he's got 90 odd potential there.
I'd say he's probably had that for a wee while there. He's been around for a few years there for Sociedad, so but yeah, he scores another lovely finish. Pickford forced to make a couple of really good saves there in that sort of last 10 minutes, but not able to do anything there for that one. That was probably the best part of the game, that last 10 minutes or so, I'd say.
Yeah, you saw Pickford make a really good save on Yamal. You saw the old double save. Is it Unai Simon?
Unai
Simon into was it Fabian clearing off the line?
Yep. That was really
Declan
great.
Rice's follow-up header could have made it 2-1 England when
it just opened up a little bit
in their
more.
little spell, but
it opened up a little bit more by that stage. We also had the Copa America final.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't really know that was.
I watched the extra time period. We sort of realised, me and Joe, at about the 88th minute mark, that it was on. So we tuned in, still 0. Lautaro Martinez, the one to get the goal there in extra time, coming off the bench. There would have been probably like 10 or 11 card-worthy challenges in that set of extra time that didn't get given. I reckon maybe at least one that would have been, possibly could have been a straight red, like just flying. Messi had already gone off injured. He got injured in like the 64th minute and it didn't look too good apparently. But like Lautaro Martinez was the top goal scorer in the tournaments, benched for the final, comes on, gets himself a goal. That half an hour that I watched of that game was 30 times better than any of what I'd seen in that Euros final. And just that little bit different, you know, that South American sort of flair. And Argentina, they're saying, you know, obviously that Spain team to go away and to go Euros, World Cup Euros. Well, Argentina have now gone Copa America, World Cup Copa America. So, you know, you tee those two teams up against each other, and I think you've probably got one player that makes that Spain team, which would be Messi.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just that Barcelona team with Messi in there pretty much anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I think, yeah, and obviously, I suppose it'd be an interesting one, like 2008 to 2012, you've obviously had some players that would have been
yeah, so some
their prime in 2008 that were probably a bit more washed up.
come 2012.
Come 2012, and
the
you
other way around as well.
look
Some
at that with Messi now, and he's obviously not the player he once was, but he's still still a classy
100%.
player. But you know,
maybe
maybe
give
4
a
years
shout
ago,
to like you know, Emi Martinez for Argentina is, I think, a different player than what he is for club. Probably one of the, if not the best keeper in football at that. But at that stage, he's just got like an extra load of confidence about him. He's standing a foot taller. You know, he's on top of the world there. So he's unreal for Argentina. You could maybe put him in with a shout there over
Casillas.
Over Casillas, maybe. But again, you know, Casillas, huge. So
yeah, I don't know if I'd be picking Emi Martinez over Iker Casillas too regularly, but I suppose if
maybe
you
Casillas.
if you know you're going to get like some like the save that pretty much won Argentina World Cup.
I'm backing him in penalties over Casillas. You know what I mean? Like you get down to an international knockout football when you go into penalties. He's the keeper you want to have in your team. Without a doubt, just the way you can psych out a penalty taker, you know, that's what you want. But it does mean this ending of international football.
Yeah, the players have checked, and not the players. I guess some of the players who weren't involved, have checked in for their first day of pre-season.
We've seen pre-season. We've seen we had our reserve squad play a game up against Boreham Wood there. I don't know if you saw that. We won.
The old traditional fixture.
Yeah, I think we won 4-1. I want to say Salah Adine, whatever it's however the way the names go. Got himself a couple of goals there. Couple of playing minutes with Mika Beereth. You see that we've officially let him go. Permanent deal. I reckon he goes out there and wins the Golden Boot in Austria probably next year. We've seen another Kozia Dubry being released. Rua Walters being released. Plenty of talk about Caliafori possibly coming in and joining our ranks. Not much talk over a striker that I've seen just yet. That would be obviously the ideal scenario at the moment. Someone big to come in and score some goals. But is the thinking just Havertz possibly?
Look, Havertz certainly towards the end of the year was definitely coming into his own. It would be nice to have someone that is more of that traditional number 9. But there's probably other positions that we could also look to strengthen. Wouldn't mind seeing another left back come through the doors. Wouldn't mind seeing another centre midfielder as well. Whether or not it's someone who looks to replace Thomas Partey in the long term, to have Declan Rice stay that bit further forward, or whether it's someone that can sort of be that link in between Odegaard and
I think someone to be the link in between. Get rid of Thomas Partey.
Rice.
Play Declan Rice. Let Thomas Partey go and join somewhere in Turkey or somewhere like that. You know, I can see him going and playing at Galatasaray or Besiktas or something like that. And have someone else come in and play that link up role in between the two. But I think I'd like a left back. That would probably be my first protocol. Get a left back in there, and then someone in the midfield.
Yeah. I suppose that's probably all we really have in terms of the round ball. Albert Sambula Conga, he's gone off on loan.
I hadn't seen that.
To Sevilla. I believe there was another loan for a first teamer there as well. Maybe a fringe first teamer. Can't remember who it was.
I haven't seen anything.
AFTV posted it.
Anything else there of recent? We have seen the match play kick off there in the world of darts, kicking off on the weekend there. They pushed forward a few of the games yesterday morning so that they could get the footy underway, putting it up on the big screen. They were actually booing in the last match, and I don't know if it was because Chizzy was getting dicked regardless, English as well. And I don't know if it was because he won a leg or not, but it seemed like he won a leg and then the crowd booed as if to say, like, come on mate, like, you've lost, let's get this over and done with so you can get the footy on. We don't want to miss any of this, you know. But the one match that everyone was talking about was Van Gerwen up against Littler as a first round clash. That was there this morning. MVG winning the first session 3-2, Littler coming out winning the second session 3-2, sitting there at 5-all. You're thinking we're in for a bit of a tie-break scenario here, but I think it was 10-7, 10-6 final score there to MVG, running away with it at the end, putting himself into round 2 there and knocking Luke Lenuke out. So unfortunate for him, but it's a short and sharp match play debut there for Luke. Plenty of good looking matchups going to round 2. MVG probably the one to beat, or Luke Humphries, obviously playing some awesome darts there at the moment. He's the world number 1 there for the recent World Cup holder as well. So that's possibly the two that I'd be leaning towards, MVG and Humphries, and I think possibly opposite sides of the draw as well. So that you may end up seeing them possibly meet in a final, which would be awesome in a best of 32, 35, whatever it is at that stage of coming to the final. Would be awesome, and I think that will all be finished up this weekend. So hopefully in a reasonable time there, maybe Sunday morning to get up, watch that final. But usually ends up being a Monday morning for us, those finals, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that's probably us for another week. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for tuning in. Remember to give us a like on all your socials. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a 5-star. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy whatever sport you may be getting yourselves involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you then.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now world test champions.